Hey guys, what's up? It is Alicia here from aliciacarlson.com. Happy Wednesday. I hope that you are having a fantastic day so far. I wanted to make this video. This idea actually just came to me while I was on my walk this morning. And it's definitely an area that I have fallen into kind of time and time again in different areas of my life. And it's this idea of the gap trap. And I'm not talking specifically about thigh gaps today, although I guess you could theoretically apply it to that. But more so, I'm talking about the gap that you might find yourself in. Usually we are kind of smack dab in the middle of two places, where we've been and where we want to be going, right? You can think about this, and this was kind of how I was specifically thinking about it this morning, but I was thinking about some friends of mine that have just had babies that are really struggling with kind of this post-baby body, right? And they find themselves kind of in this middle place, right? So maybe you are that mom that has just had a baby, or maybe you've had a baby a while ago and they're not even really a baby anymore, but you feel like you're still kind of in this waiting. You're in this in between of that pre-baby body. I had to make sure I said that right. And that place of getting back to your goal body. I know for me, that was definitely something that I struggled with. Maybe you are in between two goals or two jobs or something like that, where you just feel like you look back on maybe that body that you used to have and you think about and you remember like, gosh, it was so good when I was there. Or you start thinking about what it would be like to be in that goal body again, or to be in a new goal body, right? And so when we're focusing either on that before or we're so focused on the after, we feel like we are just kind of in this place of no man's land where we're not content, we're not at peace. And oftentimes what I have really found is that we sort of fantasize or we romanticize what it used to be like to be in that body, right? Or we romanticize this idea of what it will be like to be in this other body, in the after body. And the things that we usually tend to forget is that even when we were in that sort of before body, like before baby or before the weight gain or whatever, we still had things likely that we were picking on ourselves about. We still had things that we were likely not content with there, right? And so we forget about that though when we're sitting here in this other body and we're not exactly happy or we're not exactly content. And we think, well, if I just would have lost the weight, or if I lose the weight again, then I'll be happy. And so we find ourselves kind of looking at this body that we used to have, wishing that we still had that body, but forgetting that we still had things that we weren't exactly happy with. And we also start to romanticize this idea that if we lose the weight again, or if we work on getting leaner or getting toned or whatever, that we'll also be super happy. And then all of a sudden that's going to solve all of the problems. And so we end up sort of being in this place in the middle where we are feeling like we're just not confident, right? Like we feel like we're not doing good enough, like we should be doing more, or why am I not, reaching the goals, right? So I want to challenge you not to fall for that trap. That was definitely something that I felt about myself, especially as I kind of started to come out of dieting and the diet mindset. Is I started to think about, gosh, when I was dieting, I was smaller or whatever. And so I would kind of start to miss that. Or I would think like, gosh, if I could just lose the weight again, that maybe I would be happier again. But I forget about how unhappy and how hard it was to try to maintain dieting, or to maintain always tracking my food, or always weighing it, or always trying to follow a workout program perfectly. And I still always would forget that even when I was at my leanest or at my smallest, that I still felt like I could lose 5 to 10 more pounds. So I just want to encourage you that if you find yourself sort of at that place, or maybe you look at a body that you used to have, or you look at a weight that you used to be, and you think to yourself, man, I wish that I could just get back there. I want to challenge you to really remember what it actually felt like for you to be at that size or to be at that weight, and to see, like, honestly, were you completely fulfilled and satisfied in that body, or have you sort of created this fantasy around that, like magical thinking essentially? And then also kind of look at, what that goal is down the road for you. Are you thinking that if I lost another 5, 10, 20 pounds, then I would be happy, then I would be healthy, all of these things? I want you to think about what are the feelings that you're sort of associating with that goal, and then get really real with yourself whether or not that is actually going to be the truth as well. And then look at where you are now, right? Because right here and right now is all that you've got. You've just got this present moment. You've just got this present body. And so you might as well enjoy it as best as you can, right? Instead of looking either to the before body or looking to the after body and thinking that that's where your happiness, that's where your fulfillment's going to come from. Sit in this moment, sit in this body that you have now, appreciate it, take care of it, honor it while you, and then, from that place, it's okay to continue to work on those goals. But I just don't want you to get tricked into thinking that if you lost the weight or if you fixed your body somehow, that would be sort of the magic bullet. That's essentially magic thinking, right? And we end up focusing more so on the gap and how far we have to go rather than really acknowledging maybe the process that you're making on a day-to-day basis, right? Like if you went out for a walk, that's process, or that's progress towards your goal. If you exercised some self-control and didn't eat the entire piece of cake because you knew that wasn't really what you wanted or what you needed, or that it wouldn't feel good to eat the entire piece of cake, that's progress, right? Like you showed some self-control, that's progress. So instead of looking at how far you have to go to your goal, why not just look at the things that are here and now, the day-to-day, the slow steps, the small steps, the progress that is happening, and start to cultivate that attitude of gratitude towards the body and the health that you have now, instead of falling into that trap of the magical thinking that if you were only back in that body that you used to be in, or if you were only able to reach that goal body again, that then you would be able to be happy. Because all that does is that increases the gap between where we are and where we want to be. And that ultimately ends up increasing those feelings of guilt or of shame, or just a feeling like you're not doing a good enough job, like you're not trying hard enough. So instead of focusing on the gap and how far you have to go, focus on today, focus on what you can do now, focus on those small, tiny baby steps that ultimately end up adding up to huge progress down the road. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I would love to know how this impacted you today, so you can leave me a comment, you can share this, shoot me a message, whatever you want to do. If you want to learn more about my philosophy with nutrition coaching and mindset coaching around body image, weight loss, all that kind of stuff, please shoot me a message or send me an email, alicia@aliciacarlson.com. Until next time, have a fantastic day.